Hello. So welcome to the Career Conversations series. It takes me a lot of effort to bring celebrities, and today it has taken me around 2 years to get Siddhi to give her dates for this show. So she is from Calcutta, CA Inter, MBA from IIM Ahmedabad, an entrepreneur in the food segment, even recognized by our Prime Minister in Man Ki Baat. Recently featured in Forbes 30 Under 30. A lot of achievements under her belt. So welcome to the show, Siddhi. So
Thank you so much, Anurag.
someone who really inspires me when I think of startups, when I think of academics, when I think of personal relations, I really look up to you as a person. And so before
Thank
we
you so
touch
much.
into
This means a lot.
the professional part of the journey, please tell us about your schooling, your college, your formative years, family, its influence on your thought processes, the values you gleaned from your parents, grandparents.
So I have grown up. I have been fortunate to grow up with my grandparents, and I think it is very important for any child's upbringing the time that they spend with their grandparents, listening to their stories, getting all the love and care from them. So we used to listen to bedtime stories from my grandfather every night before sleeping, and those times it used to be just like fun. Okay, we are going to listen to this story and that, but we did not even realize that the morals, the values of those stories that has actually shaped the kind of person that today we are. Uh, Also, my father, when he came to Calcutta, he was in his college and he picked up a small job. He started working there. Then he went on to do trading, and then he went on to set up his own factory. So he's a jute rope manufacturer, supplies across the country. So his story has always inspired me of how he started from nothing, right from scratch, and he set up his own factory. And when, as a child, I used to go with my father to his factory, I would always be amazed to see all the machines, and that my father has himself set all of this up, and I should also do something like that. So that has been extremely motivational for me. My mother has a very unorthodox way of bringing up the children. So she's quite modern, and she's given us a lot of freedom to choose, make our choices, even make mistakes, learn from them, but keep on making our own choices, develop that kind of confidence within ourselves, so that empowers me as a person.
Fantastic. So then you topped school, you topped college. Were you a typical topper all throughout, right? So you were a nerd, a front bencher, the blue-eyed girl of the teachers, or did you have a life beyond grades as well?
No, so luckily, by God's grace, I used to get good marks. I used to top, but I have like always been the fun kind. We used to bunk a lot of classes in school, in college, do a whole lot of musty. But the good part was I never got scolded or punished by the teachers, because they would think ki she's getting her marks. It is okay if she's managing her studies along with this. Let us not punish her. So I was the one who always got escaped from the punishment because of the marks.
And so at St. Thomas's and then at Shikshat, and what are the kind of extracurricular activities that you indulged in?
So one of the key things I like is public speaking. So be it debate, elocution, or extempo competitions, 1 minute speeches. So it feels good to get up there and share your views with the audience or with the people at large. And so I've taken part in a lot of these competitions, but I have done almost everything other than singing. So I am too bad at singing. If I sing, even I can't listen to myself. But apart from that, so be it dancing, be it basketball, games, treasure hunt, Sudoku, mental maths, or I have even tried traditional dancing, though I'm not very good at dancing. But so I have done a whole lot of dramas, whole lot of things in school and college.
Fantastic. So then the commerce girl who was very good in studies, how did she land into the CA world? So you started, completed CA Inter, you were very much into core articleship under Mr. Subodh Agarwal, who's the former president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So how did that entire push into the CA world happen?
So as a career progression, I think if you've taken commerce, CA is a very suitable career progression. Also, one of the things I want to share here with all the viewers is people usually think CA means accountancy, but I strongly differ from that, my opinion. So I think CA teaches us a whole lot of things. So we have studied law, we have studied costing, we've studied management, IT. So there is, I think CA in a way is a very holistic learning system, which teaches you a lot of things. And so right now in my startup also, so since I have my CA background, it helps us tremendously. So we need not run to the consultants or advisors all the time and be dependent upon them. Since I know a lot of things because I've studied CA, it helps us to make the right kind of decisions, to understand the implications in several perspectives. So financial, costing, legal perspective. So it has been a great learning. And articleship under Subodh sir is one of the best things that has happened and that has helped me shape my career. So he is an amazing person, very dynamic personality. And I was lucky enough to work very closely with him during my articleship. So more than the work, I would say I have learned from him as a person, his traits, his experiences, how he handles things, how he talks to people. So it has been a very, very amazing learning journey for me.
So then you decided to appear for the CAT exams, bell the cat as one would say, and you landed up in IIM Ahmedabad in the year 2001. So tell us about that journey. Huh?
2011.
Yeah, 2011. Yeah. So 2011, how did that happen?
So right from my school time, I have always thought that I want to do an MBA. So in fact, when we used to fill all those slam books and also people would write, I would become a scientist or doctor. And my goal was only like, I want to do an MBA. So that's it. So, and then IIM Ahmedabad is the natural expectation of any person. It's like a dream to go to IIM Ahmedabad. So I also had this dream. I started preparing for. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was lucky enough to get the marks enough to secure admission into IIM Ahmedabad.
And how was that campus experience? I mean, 2 years with the red bricks, having, so, it would have been the first time in your life where you would have seen toppers all around you. So did you fall into that thinking, array, where have I landed? So I was the blue-eyed girl every time. And now there are people from NIIT and NIT, BITS Pilani, everywhere. So I actually felt overwhelmed when I landed in the campus in 2014. I'm feeling very belittled. So did you have that same experience there?
So I was, when I went there, so first few days, I was just soaking in the feeling of being in my dream college. And then again, I was fortunate enough to get a very good group of friends right from the starting days. So it was easy to settle in and do. I was almost one of the youngest students in my batch. So basically my friends were also, they were all seniors to me in terms of age. So they helped me settle down a little bit. And then, so I think one of the key perspectives also is I always had this thinking of I want to learn because I want to do my own startup, even if not immediately, someday I want to do that. So normally people who get into this MBA college and then they keep studying day and night and there is mad competition, mostly it's driven by the placement scenario. So since I was very much keen on learning and making these 2 years useful, which would help me somewhere down the line in my venture, so my approach was very different when I joined IMA. And I think I've learned tremendously from there in terms of the experience. So the course and the peer learning which happens in class is obviously there, but apart from that, the personal interactions with the professors that I had and the kind of industry projects which I did. So almost all of the second year where we have most of the elective courses, I kept on taking additional subjects even without credit. So because I exceeded the maximum credit a student can take. So I did courses without credit and I did a lot of live projects with industry to learn and to develop my skills. And the best thing that IMA has given me is Anurag Agarwal, my co-founder, without whom Parvata Foods would not be there.
So you are the only person in a batch of 400 students who got gold medals on all 3 counts: academics, extracurriculars, as well as entrepreneurship. And it would have been like you would have been on the top of the world having those gold medals. I think you'd have got it in RGM auditorium, right?
Yes, yes,
So how was
RJM,
that?
and my parents were there. That was very nice.
And then the gold medal in LKP. So how was that experience?
Yes, so I got the awards in RJM, and it was an amazing feeling. So honestly speaking, when I had joined the campus, as I told, I did not think that I am in the rat race. That's why maybe I did not feel the competition, because also somehow I did not feel that I have to go to the race of winning. And I thought a lot of good people here, all IITs, this that, and let's just live. But to in the end, to get those awards, it was something which I hadn't even dreamt of. So it was, I can't even say it was a dream come true, it was even beyond that.
Amazing. So then you found your startup with Anurag, your batchmate at IIM Ahmedabad, Parvat Foods as the name comes. So how did this name come? How did you stumble upon the plight of farmers in Sikkim? So I reckon there is a Shodh Yatra. So please tell us more about that. Because there's a lot of serendipity whenever some startups happen. It's not like it's a long drawn process. You suddenly stumble upon an idea and then you say, yeah, this is my life.
Right, right, very true. So we have Professor Anil Gupta, who takes us to Shodh Yatra course. So the purpose of the course is to go to a difficult region, see the hardships of people, and think about our course in life. So as a part of that course, we had gone to Sikkim. So we used to do trekking in the morning, and by evening, whichever village we reach, we go and sleep with the villagers there, either in their houses, or we sleep in the village community school or somewhere. And then next morning we start trekking again. So during those conversations with the villagers, we figured out that Sikkim is converting into a complete organic state. So they do not use any chemical fertilizers, pesticides. It's all very pure and pristine, the Himalayan origin. But the plight is that the farmers are not getting any market access. So everything from Sikkim was coming down to Siliguri. It was getting mixed with the other products from Northeast, from Bengal, and it was being sold as conventional. So the organic identity of the product was being lost. So the farmers are growing organic, selling it as conventional, not getting the right prices for their produce, and eventually leaving farming, getting into manual labor work. So, and we were at that time doing a lot of projects in the industry with the big agribusiness companies. So I thought that there is a huge opportunity here, because there is a huge segment of customers who want organic food. It's good for them, but there is in the market unavailability of authentic organic food, so to say. There would be organic company brands, but for the consumers to trust it as authentic organic, the origin knowledge is not there. So if we could connect these farmers to the market, then there is a value to be built both for the company as well as in improving the lives of the farmers. So we went back to campus, discussed it with the professors. Professor Sunil Handa has been extremely instrumental in guiding us all throughout till, like, to start our entrepreneurship journey and to move ahead. So we discussed it with all of them, and then we just decided to opt out of placement.
Yeah, so you opted out of placement. You had a PPI from Maybach Consulting, which is a German MNC. Was that decision easy? Did people at home say that, oh, thoda din naukri kar lo bhai, kuch bade paise kamao, something like that? Typical Indian middle class security mindset. Because entrepreneurship is what you're jumping into something you don't have a fixed salary check. That is the biggest thing. So I remember I had gone to Sunil Handa sir for CA job portal. He said opt out of placements. That's his first condition. Opt out of placements
Yes.
and just
If a
get into it.
person meets him, he has to opt out of placement.
I said, sir, I cannot opt out of placements. It's a so that CA job portal thing. He said, no, if you want to get into something, just opt out of placements, then the path is going to emerge. So how was that? I'm sure it's going to be a very difficult thing, or did it come very natural to you? It's now Parvat Foods, nothing else.
So I think what you say, so we heard these things from our relatives. But fortunately enough, as I have told earlier also, my parents are very unorthodox, and they have a very dynamic way of bringing us up, also giving us a lot of responsibilities to choose our career path on our own. So I do not feel any issue at my home. Mother was slightly a little worried because all the relatives, since the time you get admission into IIM, people start saying all those crore package and this and that. So they just keep on pestering her, Arey, why is beta doing like this? What happened? This, that. So sometimes she would feel like, okay, Siddhi, are you sure you want to do this? But my father has always been extremely supportive. He started up his own. He knows that we are going to do the same. So he was like, okay, as you decide.
All right. So then you got the first funding from the Center of Incubation of Entrepreneurship and Innovation, CII, at IIM Ahmedabad. So how does that help entrepreneurs?
So CII is I would say a very amazing institution in terms of the help that they give to entrepreneurs to start up and to scale up. It is one of the most, I think, largest or prominent incubation centers in India. So one is that the team there itself, they are extremely knowledgeable with the vast amount of portfolio companies that they're handling. So they have a huge experience. Then they are extremely well connected in the industry. So in terms of any resource that you want, be the connection available with CII. They also provide working spaces for the entrepreneurs where you could sit, brainstorm, and register your company. Maybe I know some of my juniors who registered their company at CII's address. So there is a whole lot of help which is given by them. Also, we had a program from them called the IIMA Maverick Fellowship. So as a part of that, they would provide us a mentor. So I fortunately had Mr. Narendra Murukumbi from Renuka Sugars as my mentor. So he's also helped us in our journey, and then they would give some financial stipend to carry on the activities and a lot of reviews and updates and guidance. So they have been instrumental in the very early ages of our company in terms of the Maverick Fellowship, and then we later on got angel funding from them as well. So it has been extremely helpful for us.
Okay, tell me one thing. So, it's all good to float an idea on campus, get Renuka Sugars MD as your mentor and all. But then, once a convocation happens, you're out there in the fields now, interacting with the farmers. And they are, do they welcome you? Do they view you with suspicion that, okay, these are MBA graduates. How come they are with us? What are their hidden sinister motives? Then how did you convince them? You started training them. So was that journey easy? Plus, that infrastructure around a girl in the farmlands, every farmer would be like skeptical that what's a girl doing out there? Anurag would be obviously there. So that would be like a team, but still, how was that journey?
So you've rightly said it has been to begin with, it has been a very difficult journey on several aspects. So to begin with, the India. So Northeast, they have not been completely integrated, and there have been instances where people have been to Northeast and they've kind of exploited the farmers and then gone away. So when we started our journey, and we used to hear that you are from the plains and we are from mountains, and so we are different people, and you have so trust and relationship with the farmers. So we run very extensive farmer training programs. We help them to improve their productivity, to manage the diseases better, to increase their income. And these are not very hi-fi things that we teach them, very simple things which are easy to adopt to them, which is suited to their kind of topography. Because to begin with, we started from Sikkim, which is a completely mountainous state. It's in the Himalayas. So the topography is not similar to what you would teach a Karnataka or a Maharashtra farmer. You can't go and teach that to a Sikkimese farmer. So we developed the training modules according to them. We taught them, and then once we started our processing plant in Sikkim, that's when the farmers were completely convinced that okay, now they've set up their plant, they're going to buy from us, they're not going to run away, they are here to help. So now we get a lot of love and affection from the farmers, and now the journey has become as beautiful as it was difficult. On the other question of being a woman in agriculture field, again, this has been extremely challenging in terms of the mindset of the people that a woman in agriculture, you're not supposed to do anything here. You can't do anything here. And then also in terms of sanitation and hygiene, so we would travel for say 12 hours or 14 hours in a day, moving around, meeting farmers, doing field visits. There is no proper washroom facilities available. So I would not eat for or drink for 12 hours. So we've had those kind of times, and that challenge also, I think India is changing bit by bit. I have felt quite some change in the last few years of my journey, of how earlier people. So when Anurag and I used to go to meet somebody, and then we would shake hands. So Anurag would shake his hand, and then I would be like this, and the person would just turn away, turn to Anurag and start talking to him. If I would ask a question, he would look at Anurag and he would give his answer. So there has been these challenges which we have to live with. But Anurag, as a co-founder, has been extremely caring about these things. He's always been there. He's never let me felt any issue with any of the things. So I think it's because of the team support and the effort that I have been able to sail through this.
How did Prime Minister Modi stumble upon Parvat Foods? You've been mentioned your and Anurag efforts not once but twice in Mann Ki Baat. Rashtrapati Bhavan has recognized your efforts. So how did you get into that super epic zone?
So we income, and then we do processing of their produce. We connect them to the markets. So it was January 2016 when Sikkim was being declared as a complete organic state. The whole state has achieved a huge feat in becoming a complete organic state. And Prime Minister Modi ji, Agriculture Minister and Agriculture Secretaries of all states in India. So, excuse me. And so we had our like a stall kind of a thing, a exhibition stall, you can call it, there where we had put up our products. So he came and he met us, and he was extremely happy to know about the fact that after graduating from IIM Ahmedabad, we opted out of placement and are helping the farmers in Northeast and trying to market their produce, taking it to the export markets. So I think he just became very happy with the kind of work that we're doing. And he has mentioned us in Mann Ki Baat. He's also mentioned us on several other forums, other meetings or other public gatherings in tribal carnival or young CEOs meetings. So he's talked about us several times. And that has given us quite a lot of motivation to continue working hard, because now it's just not our dream, it's also something which the Prime Minister keeps mentioning. So this we have to put in double the efforts now.
Okay. So a chartered accountant in the making, an MBA gold medalist, now spending time on the shop floor, procuring turmeric and ginger from farmers, setting up a factory in Siliguri, doing the processing. So your life would be like bearings and conveyor belts and cartons and drying plants. Do you actually start, and you were telling the other day that you have started now designing the machines. How does that happen?
So this is also one very interesting journey which has happened in our course of the business. So once the Sikkim plant was a small plant, we started manufacturing there and supplying to the exporters who would export it to the Europe and the US market. And when we learned enough about processing, we developed a good farmer base of more than 1,000 farmers. We decided that we want to scale up our operations and enter the export market directly. So we would set up a much bigger plant of our own. So right now our plant is the largest organic spice dehydration plant in Northeast. So we started looking out for the machines to set up the plant. And traditionally in India, if you will see, it's the spices, the ginger, the turmeric, is mostly all sun dried. There is no machines for processing of these kind of products. Mostly in terms of vegetables, what we process in a factory structure is potato and carrot. And those machines are very different from the machines which are supposed to process ginger. But usually there is not much of these machines available in the Indian market. So we did not find good machines. We visited China, saw the ginger growing scenario there, saw a lot of machines there. We were not completely convinced also of the Chinese machines. It was on and off, on and off. And then we were trying to explore a little more, and then some issues happened between our countries, and so we decided that okay, let us promote Make in India, and we'll do it on our own. So we'll make the best kind of machines, and we'll use it in a plant, and also set it up as a model plant for ginger and turmeric dehydration. So we got into machine making from there, learned bit by bit, visited a lot of these machine manufacturers, fabricators, spent a lot of time with the karigars while they are making the machine to learn the different things, what's possible, what's not possible. And then, so today I very proudly, when the customers, the foreign clients, when anybody visits my factory, we very, very proudly say that not one machine is purchased, everything is self fabricated. So it's a different kind of achievement feeling, so to say.
Perfect. And what are your plans of scaling up now?
So there are two paths that we are following right now. So one is, as I was mentioning, in the spice industry, people usually do sun drying. So if you will see, when the spices are, so the ginger and the turmeric, after being harvested, they are left open in the field under the sun to dry. So one is that in the morning it gets dried, in the evening again it gets cooled, next morning it gets heated, night it gets cooled. So there is temperature shock which happens in the product, which by which the essential oils of the product starts to evaporate. So the value, the health property goes down. Also in the Indian conditions, you will see there is animals moving around in the field. So there is dog excreta, bird perching, dust, and all kind of contamination which goes into the product. So there is microbial contamination. We have redefined the way the spice industry is operating, how the spices are getting processed. So we have innovated a dehydration technology. We also got a lot of support from Jain Irrigation for this. We did a lot of our research and trials before setting up our plant in their facility in Jalgaon. And we've now set up our innovated this technology wherein we are dehydrating ginger and turmeric in machines through the forced air circulation. And what the product, it takes 10 days to dry in the field, we are drying it in 7 hours in our machine, that too without increasing the temperature. So we don't heat the product. If you heat the product, again the essential elements, the essential oil starts to evaporate. So we used forced air circulation and dehumidification method. We completely dry the product, dehydrate it. So the quality is much superior because the aroma and flavor is much superior. So we've got very good export interest from big companies in Germany, in Netherlands, and we have been working with them. We've sent some consignments to France. So this is one of the paths that we would follow as a company to get into the export markets. The second thing that we are doing now, and especially now in this current situation when people have become so much aware about health and immunity, so we always had this motto that medicine is not healthcare. Medicine is sick care. Food is healthcare. So now we are working on some of the products for the Indian retail market, which is kind of ginger and turmeric based, which are most important for immunity. So we are working on it, and possibly soon we'll have our retail products of ginger and turmeric kadha in the market.
And I can vouch for that because for the past 2 years I'm consuming a turmeric with my milk, and my typical cold, always cough and cold used to be there. It's quite under control. Not advertising your thing, but yeah, it's really genuinely very good. Yeah. So Siddhi, you come across as such a humble individual. Recently, you got Forbes 30 under 30 in Asia as an entrepreneur. I mean, how much, so much so soon? I mean, how is that feeling? Does it sink in quickly, or is it like पिछले जन्म का पुण्य था? What was it?
No, I just always feel that I have been very fortunate in my entire journey. So it is because of the best wishes and blessings of grandparents, parents, family members, close friends, everybody who loves and cares about you. So I have some very, very close, amazing friends who have really helped me a lot in my entire journey. So I think it's not just one person or two persons doing. So I think Anurag and I would not have been able to set it up or make it this big if it were not for all the people around us. Anurag's wife is extremely helpful, extremely supportive. So it has been So on the front, you see two people running Parvata Foods, but on the back end, the Parvata team is very dedicated, without fail to say this. And the friends and family, there is a whole lot of people who have put in their time, energy, effort, and blessings, prayers to bring us to where we are. So we have been very fortunate in our journey, and it is because of everybody around us.
Final questions. What does Siddhi Kanani do for fun and fitness?
So fitness is very good question. So I drink my ginger, I drink my turmeric. So this is again not advertising, but I do this. Then I do meditation, and I do positive affirmations. So I think that is also very critical. So I meditate with positive affirmations. That has been very helpful to keep me mentally and physically fit. And for fun, I think not this platform, but yes, we'll take that call after the video.
I mean, my whole point was that does an entrepreneur also have a life beyond the shop floor, beyond export orders, the dollars
Yes,
coming in?
yes, we do. And if I say all of these things here, the sincerity of an entrepreneur and saying what I discuss will go down. Yeah. So,
All right, the final word of advice to people watching this show.
so I think one of the key things is you have to break the stereotypes. You have to lead your own path. So for us, getting into agriculture field, working with the farmers on ground after doing MBA from IIM Ahmedabad was people were like, "What are you doing? You're going around to sell fruits and vegetables. You will become ready wala." We heard things like that. And then being a stereotypes, create your own path. That's when you feel the journey, you feel that you're living, you are doing something new every day. So even though you fail, it's absolutely okay. We've also had a lot of failures in our path as we moved on. So but if you're working moving on the path that you want to, and you're breaking the stereotypes, it is it gives you the motivation to keep moving ahead even if you fail. And so while I was opting out of placement, since that time I just put up this quote in my room and I still have it, which says, "मंजिल मिल ही जाएगी भटक करी सही, गुमराह तो वो हैं जो घर से निकले ही नहीं."
Oh
So
yeah,
I believe this to the core of my heart, and yes, that's it.
I think that's the on your WhatsApp status update as well.
Yes,
It's
could
been
be. I
there since.
just put it up in my room everywhere.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So, thank you so much, Siddhi, for sparing your time out. My it's been 2 years since I've been coaxing and cajoling you for your time. So, Corona, at least I've
My
been
God.
Corona lucky in some way to get your time. So, thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure having you on the show. And if people who've been watching this show have liked it, please like it on YouTube so that the algorithm understand that this is worthy of being watched and it gets suggested to other people. So share it on your social media platforms. Make everything possible to get this video reach out to a large number of people. Thank you so much.